Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone will be, quote, special ambassadors to a great but very troubled place, Hollywood. Now, Baccia, given the woke stinkers Hollywood turns out, I think he's probably right. They need all the help they can get. But I'm not convinced this is going to work. Is this the beginning of a fight to take back control of America's cultural institutions?
You know, it's so amazing how the people who are supposed to be at the forefront of culture and intellectualism and art and literature and music and everything that makes societies and civilizations great are all just complete and utter cowards who fall in line. And that's really what you're seeing here. The American people are so sick of the moral vanity and posturing of the wealthy who for so long have enforced these woke codes because they allow very wealthy people to act like they are the real victims here and thus the truly virtuous ones. And that's what happened when Donald Trump won on November 5th. It was a huge repudiation of this kind of postmodernist, woke, liberal, neoliberal world order. And so now everybody's rushing to get on the other side of this sinking boat, which means kissing up to Donald Trump. And so you see all of these people sort of coming and bending the knee, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all of these people who are massive funders of the Democrats and now want in at Mar-a-Lago. And I think now with these LA fires, it went even further to where you're really seeing this coming for the heart, the beating heart of the kind of rich, woke enforcers of conformity. And I think Donald Trump, who is very good at reading the tea leaves and very good at taking the pulse of the nation, probably feels that there are a lot of people in Hollywood right now who would love to make their way over to his side if only there was a way to do it. And so he picked these people to do it. Now, obviously, as a Jewish person, I'm not a big fan of Mel Gibson. He made clear how much he hates my people a long time ago. But other than him, these are people who are both Hollywood stars and people who think for themselves and never fell for the woke stuff and never conformed to the liberal garbage. And so, interesting choices for sure.
Well, I think so, and I'm glad you mentioned Mark Zuckerberg there, too, because, as you say, he suddenly decided to come bend the knee. He's decided, he's going to eliminate the censorship. He's going on Joe Rogan talking about how he was censored, and apparently, he's had this great road to Damascus conversion on this. Are you convinced, though? I mean, because part of me thinks that had Kamala Harris, God forbid, won the presidency, he'd be out there putting us all in Facebook gulag.
Of course he would. These people don't believe in anything. They just want to be close to power. He realizes that he made the bad bet, and so now he's trying to backtrack. And it's so funny because he is acting like he was the victim here. He went on Joe Rogan and talked about how the Biden administration was so mean to him and called and yelled at him and yelled at his people and told them they had to censor the American people. And so they had no choice. Of course they had a choice. They could have said no. It's total baloney here. It's face-saving, and it is so craven. And I really hope that people are not going to fall for the same thing from Elon Musk. These people are, at the end of the day, basically like international conglomerates. They're not really representative of American interests, and we have to treat them as such because their interests are to their shareholders, or in Elon Musk's case, to China. And you have to be very careful. It's so funny because Joe Biden in his speech last night was talking about this oligarchy that's coming, right?
Well,
and it was, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's interesting. I was going to bring that up, Baccia, because he talked about the oligarchs. I thought that was insanely hypocritical. I spoke about it a little earlier in the program, that he was a guy who gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom to George Soros via his son Alex. To me, it seems like, well, it's just, choose your flavor, but we're talking about oligarchs on both sides here.
It's so funny because, for the last 8 years, the Democrats have tried to convince us that when they win, it's democracy, and when they lose, it's fascism, right? And now they're doing the same thing here. When Mark Zuckerberg is on their side, it's about protecting people from misinformation. And when Mark Zuckerberg goes into the other side, suddenly it's about a lack of, protection from misinformation. Suddenly it's all about oligarchs, right? It's oligarchs for me, but not for thee. This is should be the entire motto of the Democratic Party. Of course, we know that everything that Joe Biden said last night was a projection. Every accusation from the Democrats is just pure confession. It is the Democrats who have enabled oligarchy. It is the Democrats who control 9 of the 10 richest counties in America. It is the Democrats who represent 65% of Americans making over $500,000 a year. It is the Democrats who won with Americans making over $100,000 a year. It is the Democrats who got 2 to 1 for every billionaire Donald Trump has in his pocket. Joe Biden had 2. It is the Democrats who got 75% of donations from hedge fund managers, 95% of donations from the top 3 management consulting firms. Wall Street has chosen the Democrats the last 3 election cycles over the Republicans, and they have the chutzpah to say that it is Donald Trump who is enabling oligarchs? No.
And Batya, I mean, isn't that the heart? And I want to get onto the Gaza peace deal in a second, but I do have to add, like, the Democrat modus operandi, it seems like it's gone from being the party of the working class to hollow out the middle class, represent the people at the very top and very bottom of the spectrum, and give everybody else crumbs and consolidate your support that way.